The China Report for Tuesday, May 21, 2013. North Korea warned. State media report a Chinese fishing boat and its 16-man crew who were reportedly held for ransom by an armed group in waters off the west coast of North Korea were released early on Tuesday. Global Times says the incident has fueled outrage among the Chinese public, with internet users venting fury towards North Korea, as traditionally close ties between the nations have been pushed toward greater tension. A bilingual Global Times editorial suspects that the North Korean army used the ambiguity of maritime borders to make a quick buck by detaining the Chinese crew. If North Korea continues to go rogue, China should take actions to push it toward a more measured response. If we don't set rules for North Korea, our whole government's image may be seen as being too weak to deal with maritime issues, it stresses. India and China make amends. The world's two populous but rival giants are interacting. Chinese Prime Minister Li Keqiang's call to settle a long-running border dispute with India is a good beginning. Li, who is on his debut international visit to New Delhi, also urged for improved mechanisms that could help not only address the changing geopolitical realities but also set in new parameters of cooperation between both the countries. This is, indeed, out-of-box thinking, and has come at a time when Delhi and Beijing were involved in a spat due to the recent flare-up in border tensions. The fact that those words from Li were meant for public consumption, and the two states inked 8 new bilateral agreements is a step in the right direction. Underground lender gets death sentence in China. A businesswoman in southern China has been sentenced to death on charges of defrauding investors as the government tightens controls on informal financing that is widely used by entrepreneurs. The woman, Lin Heian, was convicted of illegal fundraising for collecting 640 million renminbi, or $100 million, from investors by promising high returns and low risk, according to a statement by the Intermediate People's Court of Wenzhou. It said that the plan had collapsed in October 2011 and that 428 million renminbi could not be recovered. Religious freedom declines in China. Religious freedom continued to decline in China this year, while Vietnam showed slight signs of improvement despite ongoing abuses, the U.S. State Department said in an annual report to American lawmakers. Meanwhile, in Myanmar, also known as Burma, violations of religious freedoms continued unchanged in spite of progress made in political reforms, the report said. In China, the State Department's 2012 Religious Freedom Report said, the government's respect for religious freedom declined during the year, particularly in Tibetan areas and the Xinjiang Uyghur Autonomous Republic. In general, China's government emphasized state control over religion, the report said, adding that the religious activities of religious adherents were restricted when these were perceived, even potentially, to threaten state or Chinese Communist Party interests, including the party's concept of social stability. There have been many examples over the past several decades of religious crackdowns. Tibet is just one example. Many religious groups from China's past that once were accepted and encouraged are now outlawed. Falun Gong is one of them. Now it is Christians that are feeling unwelcome in China. The central government in China at times has been jealous of religious groups gaining influence with Chinese people. They are seen as a threat to communist rule. That's the China Report for today. Zaijian.